Yeah, good day, my viewers and learners all over the world. This is your regular host, Valentine, and this is another session. Today, we'll be looking at scale drawings and maps. So, the entire picture, what this is trying to tell us is, it's comparing, take for instance, this shape in real life and on paper. This idea is mainly used by the architects. So what this is trying to tell us is it's not that easy to go into the sea to measure the actual length of a ship. So what the designers do is they'll give you a scale. They'll tell you, take for instance, 1 centimeter represents 25,000 centimeter. Or better still, they may just decide not to write this just to confuse learners. So you need to pay attention to details. You need to be aware of what you are doing. So what this is trying to tell us is we call this skill. You always be given a skill. So the skill tells us the shape of the ship in real life situation and on paper. So, as mentioned earlier, what the designers do is on paper, they'll state it there that for every, let's take for instance on this, for every 1 centimeter, you get 1,000 centimeters. 1 centimeter will give you 1,000 centimeters. So, what they are trying to say in essence is on paper, it's a lot easier measuring with a tape or a ruler. So, what they are trying to say is for every measurement you have on paper, times it by 1,000, that will give you the actual measurement of the ship in real life situation. Question. Please don't confuse this scale drawings and mapping to that of our metric units. I've seen a situation where I've been privileged to see where learners mistaking scale drawings and map and linking it to the unit of measurement, the conversion unit of measurement. Please, we need to be careful. They are not the same. They are two different topics. Scale drawings and mapping, the examination awarding body may decide to use whatever, they may decide to use any figure that suits them. But the units of measurement, the conversion unit of measurement are certain, they are constant. Take for instance, 1,000 grams makes 1 kilogram. 1,000 gram make 1 kilogram. So if you are converting from gram to kilogram, you divide by 1,000. And if you are converting from kilogram to gram, you multiply by 1,000. That is different from scale drawings and map. Please take note about that. Please, that's why I'm trying to make the clear distinction. As stated earlier, I've seen a situation where learners mistaken the two. Please take note, they are two different topics. Conversion units is not the same with scale drawings and mapping. They are two different scenarios. So coming back to this is our skill. What this is trying to tell us is for every 1 centimeter you measure on paper, you multiply by 1,000 to give you the actual measurement of the ship in a real life situation. So this is our skill. So our scale is one. Okay, this is 1 centimeter. Okay, since they use 1 centimeter, so what this simply means is 1 centimeter is equal to 1,000 centimeter. So on paper, if you use your ruler and you measure this, the measurement on paper gives you 3.5, 34.5 centimeters. So you multiply by 34.5 centimeter. That will give us 34.5 centimeter. Remember, whatever you do on the left, you do to the right. So you multiply this two by 34.5 centimeter. So if you multiply 1,000 by 34.5, you should be having 34,500 centimeter. So I can show you this is 34.5 times 1,000. So the rule says if you are multiplying by either 10, 100, or 1,000, you move the decimal point to the right according to the number of zeros you have. So in this case, this is 1,000 and we have 3 zeros. This is a shorter way of multiplying this without using your calculator. So you move the decimal point 1, 2, 3. So this becomes 34,500. So this, the decimal point is here. So you move 1, 2, 3. So 34.5 times 1,000 will give you 34,500. So in other words, the actual measurement of the ship in a real life situation is 34,500 centimeter. So let's move on to the next slide and see. This is another example. So what this is trying to tell us is in the course of measuring, you start measuring using a ruler, you start measuring from your zero. You don't start from 1. You start measuring from 0. This is what this is trying to tell us. So this is the scale. The scale says 1 centimeter is equal to 3 kilometers. That is the scale we are working with. Okay, it is written here already. So the question says the diagram shows a scale drawing of an area of Norfolk. Norfolk is an area in the UK. So, and the scale is 1 centimeter represents 3 kilometers. So the question is, what is the distance between Watton and Thetford? What is the distance between Watton and Thetford? So what you just needed to do is to take your ruler, then you measure the distance between Thetford and Watton. Remember, you don't start counting from 1, you start from 0. So once you measure it, from this says it's 5 centimeter. 5 centimeter. Meaning you multiply here by 5. And whatever you do on the left, you do on the right. You multiply here 2 by 5. So 3 times 5 will give us 15. So in real life situation, the distance between Watton and Thetford is 15 kilometers. So let's move on to the next slide. This is the class activity. So as usual, our way of doing things, we look at question 1, because of time, and we don't have a ruler yet, then we'll look at question 3. So I will encourage my learners to have a go at question 2 and question 4. Once you've done that, you can now move on to the answer slide. and cross-check your answer. As usual, if you still struggle on how to go about this, please visit my comment section, ask your questions. I will be more than happy to help. Now let's look at this question one. We are told that a map has a scale of date. So the scale means 1 centimeter represents 3 miles. 3 miles, not 3 meters this time around. 3 miles. On the map, the distance between two towns is 7 centimeters. What is the actual distance between the two towns? Include units for your answer. So this distance between the two towns is 7 centimeters. So you multiply by 7 here, give us 7 centimeters. Remember, whatever you do on the left, you do on the right. You multiply here by 7, and that will give us 21 miles. So the distance between the two towns in real life situation is 21 miles. Whereas on paper, on map, using a ruler is 7 centimeter. So we are working with the scale. The scale said for every 1 centimeter represents 3 miles. So on the map, the distance between the two towns is 7 centimeter, while in a real life situation, the actual distance between the two towns is 21 miles. Reason, when you work with the scale and you multiply it by 7. Where did we get the 7? We're told that the distance between the two towns on paper is 7 centimeters, meaning you multiply by 7 will give us 7 centimeters, and you multiply your miles by 7, that will give us 21 meters. So the scale says for every 1 centimeter represents 3 miles. So 3 miles times 7 will give us 21 miles. Then we look at question number 3 again. A map has a scale of 1 centimeter represents or equal to 4 kilometers. The actual distance between the two cities is 52 kilometers. Now the question is asking us what is the distance between the cities on the map. In other words, what we've been looking at is we've been given the measurement on the map, and we've been told to find the actual distance in real life situation. Now this question is a reversal. Now we've been given the measurement in a real life situation, and we are told to find the actual measurement on the map on paper. And we're told that the distance in real life situation is 52 kilometers. Remember, our scale said 1 centimeter is equal to 4 kilometers. And in real life situation, the two cities is 52 kilometers. Question, what did we do? What can you do to 4 to get 52? In other words, you can divide 52 by 4. If you divide 52 divided by 4, that will give us 13. So 52 divided by 4 will give us 13. So in other words, if you multiply 4 by 13, will give us 52. So you multiply this by 13. So you can see 13 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry 1. 4 times 1, 4 plus 1, 5. So meaning 4 times 13 will give us 52 kilometers. Whatever you do on the right, you do on the left. That will be times 13. So that will be 13 centimeters. So the measurement on The map on paper is 13 centimeters. So what we just need to do next is to move on to the next slide and cross-check our answers. And please, I will encourage my learners to please have a go on question 2 and question 4. Even if you have any mistakes, please keep practicing. And once you've done that, you move on to the answer slide to cross-check your answer. Yeah, we are correct. We are correct here. Perfect. So we've come to the end of the session. Please, I will encourage my learners, keep practicing as we draw near to exams dates. We need to keep practicing so as to stand a better chance of getting good grades. Good grades. Thank you very much. This is your regular host Valentine, and see you in the next session. Bye.